what do you think about the term truecel, and how many? What do you think is the percentage? Or maybe let's first talk about the term. What do you think about the term?
As I understand it, someone is uh, a pure incel, someone like me, someone who's just so unattractive that no one wants him. Someone like me, for example. That's how I understand it. I could be wrong.
So it's someone that is just below a certain amounts of points on the physical attractiveness scale.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I understand it. Yeah, correct.
What about people that say that people with autism are? I've heard that. I mean, I actually agree, kind of agree that autism seems to be. I mean, also science is backing that up. That autism seems to be a really, really high predictor of inceldom. And
Well, could be, but I don't have autism. I definitely don't have autism or Asperger's. I can read social cues. Might be in some guys,
yeah, some people would say that
but I'm
you are not a true cell because you could be you could be able to establish an intimate relationship with a partner. um you would either have to looks max, or you would have to get a partner that is on the same looks level as you are, and then you would be able to have an intimate relationship with that person and to have a connection. But that autism impairs you of doing that, so that's why autism might be uh the ultimate people with autism might be the ultimate true selves in that sense.
po-
What do you think about that? Do you
possibly,
think that's
possibly, possibly, but well, I definitely don't have autism, but look, some incels could be autistic, could have it, or Asperger. I think they call it Asperger's.
so the idea behind true cell is basically, maybe we can agree on that, is that you think that you can't do anything about it, but you actually can, right? Sorry, if we say that you're not a true cell, so if I would say that I don't think that you're a true cell, wouldn't that would mean that you just think that you don't have any possibility of getting a romantic partner, but you actually don't, right?
Yeah, yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah.
What do you
That's
think?
how. Yeah.
How many? What's the percentage of people watching you? I mean, you are interacting with your viewers. What's the percentage of people you think that are true cells in your audience?
Hard to say. Very hard to say. You'd have to know them. You have to see them and know them individually. It's hard. Yeah.
Just maybe a wild guess.
And well, yes. The true sales, mate. Maybe 10%.
10%. So 90%
10%
actually.
maybe.
Wow. So 90% of your audience you think is actually able to get laid, but they just think that they can't because they think that they're too ugly.
Yeah, but look, I don't mean to throw my fellow incels under the bus, but with some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are their own worst enemies. Some of them might be too picky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some incels are expecting to attract a hot 9 or 10 out of 10 looking Stacy when they're not particularly attracted themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them could be too fussy. I'm not fussy. I'm a beggar. I'm not a chooser. I'm not particularly fussy. But a lot of them are probably too fussy, too entitled. I think they're a bit like that. You remember that he did that horrible thing 10 years ago. That American guy, Elliot Roger. Remember him? Yeah, I felt that's a very good. There's a very good YouTube uh, documentary about his life. It goes for about 2.5 hours, and yeah, he was very entitled. Yeah, and some incels are like that. They think they're entitled to the hottest looking women. That's not me. I'd be happy for any possibly attractive woman, but yeah, some incels their standards are too high. They're just too high.
Do you see on this when you walk on the street, do you see women where you say if they would offer themselves to me to have sex with me, I would say no.
Oh, well, there's some women are just so unattractive, but I don't have particularly high standards. As long as she's not too fat. I mean, I don't mind a curvy or a voluptuous woman, but as long as she's not super morbidly obese or too old or
Do you
yeah,
think
but
that
she's
there might be women out there that would like to sleep with you but are, as you've said, maybe too obese or too old?
possibly, yeah. But even older women are getting fussier. I mean,
Wait,
when I gave up on
but
dating,
wouldn't that make you a standard cell? Wouldn't that make you a fake cell? Just like definitionally, that you're theoretically.
I don't know. Well,
Sorry, my Alexa got triggered
no,
through what something
that's
I
all right.
said. I have
That's
no
all right.
idea.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, wouldn't that make you a standard cell?
It could, good. But when I got when I gave up on dating, what caused me to give up on dating? I went on a blind date with this woman. Um, she was in her mid-50s. I mean, she lied about her age, but that didn't bother me. I thought she was still attractive, but she still rejected me as well. And I was in my mid-40s, and I was in good shape, and even she rejected me. She told me what was the line? She goes, "You're too quiet for me. I'm looking for a party animal." This is coming from a woman on the wrong side. After that, I mean, I didn't get angry with her. I mean, it ruined my night, but I just politely thanked her for her time, shook her hand, and walked away. And yeah, it is what it is. And then at that point, then I just gave up. I quit.
I'm really shocked that you say that 90% of the people that you view you think that are actually not really incels, because basically you're
It's
constantly
hard.
telling, I mean, you're constantly
It's hard.
telling people to give up, right?
No, 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 no. I'm not. The only people I tell, well, not tell to give up, but advise to give up are the older guys, not the young guys. But obviously they've still got time to turn it around. But but if you're just getting rejected all the time, regardless of how well you're presenting yourself, there just comes a time when enough's enough. No, look, whether a man should give up on dating, that's a personal decision each man's got to make.
Yeah, but you never, I've never heard you say, guys, most of you are probably fine, just improve and you'll be good, and it's probably because of your communication. Because you think that 90%
I
or
know.
a big majority of your audience is actually able to turn things around in life. So I wonder why all of your content is basically just telling people that it's that if your looks are not good enough, it's over.
Well, look, when I gave that 10% figure, those are the guess. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would
So
agree. I think I agree with you.
it's a guess. You know what I mean? And it could be way off. Um, with a lot of incel guys, look, they're all every man's unique. I mean, they could be incel because their looks are just are that bad, like me, for example. Some of them, they're not that bad looking, but they just need to looks max, and some of them are just maybe just too picky. So it just depends on the individual guy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that
You can't tell them.
do you think that being too picky is kind of a disease of our generation to a certain extent, of the modern time?
Yeah.
Is it maybe also, I feel like it's also, it is affecting women, but it's at the same time, it's, I mean, incels are really critical of women being too picky, right? But I feel like
Right.
men are also really getting really picky. So I feel like you could just instantly, I mean, I know it's not really the way I'm saying it, but theoretically, you could instantly stop being an incel by being attracted to that woman that I talked to you before, where I said, okay, do you believe that there is a woman that is really fat and really old, and and ugly enough so that she would really want to sleep with you. So in that moment, you would instantly you would stop being an incel. So just by virtue of being attracted to less physically attractive women, you could stop being an incel.
Maybe.
Why maybe?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to meet her. You know what I mean? I'd have to, you know, but
What do you
with
mean I
my
have to
age,
meet her?
well, I just meet her and see her. But see, the problem is, as you get older, um, you know, especially if you're an incel like me, it gets harder because most women, by the time they're 40, they're either in a married or they're in a serious relationship. There's not many single women out there.
Wait,
They're not out there. I mean,
do you believe that I could, let's say you sent me, theoretically, okay? You sent me a picture and I go around and I find you a woman that just looking at your picture would say, okay, I would be ready to sleep with that man. Okay, do you think that is possible for me to do? Do you think I could find someone?
no, probably
A
not.
woman?
Depending on
You, you don't think I could find
no,
a 80-year-old, very, very
no, I don't want
obese
to.
woman?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to date an 80-year-old
Yeah,
woman.
but that's okay. Wait, that's okay. But do you think I could find that?
I don't know.
Wait, you don't. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that I could, right?
Possibly.
Why? Why possibly?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's an
But
important. I
there's,
think that's an important point. You should. I mean, I could easily. I think it's not even that difficult. I could easily find someone that would want to sleep with you. But
oh, well,
the question is if you are going to be attracted to that, right? To that
that's
woman.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong for not being attracted to her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that let's say we could magically let's say we could magically make you attracted to that woman. That would basically solve all of your problems, right?
It could.
Wait, why are you saying
No,
it
I don't know.
could? It objectively would, right? Let me know if you have a contention. Say it, but
It just depends. I mean, I mean, look, I don't care how attractive a woman is. She's got to. Oh, I also rate things like personality as well. You know, is she a nice person to be around? You know,
true.
I
And
value other
if
things.
true, and maybe you're also she doesn't qualify for from a character perspective. I agree, right? She could be just a horrible person, or she could just be boring and blah blah. But if we could make you like that, like her personality as well, that would also solve your problem, right? So if we
Yeah.
would just change stuff in your brain, we could just solve your celibacy, right?
Well,
Right?
maybe. But anyway,
Wait, why are you saying
you know,
maybe? If you have a contention, let me know, but don't say maybe. Don't maybe me.
all right. um, yeah. I mean, if she ended up being the right person, yeah. But look,
Wait,
I
you.
mean, as far
I,
as
I'm.
yeah, but look, as far as technically, look, as you know, I do pay for it. I do pay for it. But look, the ladies that I see, they give me a great service. They can be very passionate. Actually, I was speaking to some other incels, and they said that well, these are American incels. They said that in America, a hooker will only treat you as well as how much you like you, the way you look. But I consider myself pretty ugly, and I've been with some pretty hot hookers, and they treated me like a king. They treated me like an absolute king, and I'm pretty
Wait,
unattractive.
that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that one way. So there is a few ways of solving the incel crisis, right? So we would both like to see the incel crisis stop, okay? Right? That's in both of our interests. So one way to stop the incel crisis is to reduce uh to increase monogamy to have a monogamous society where everybody gets married, right? If people were monogamous, that would solve the incel crisis to a big extent, right? So 95% basically, or 80%, I don't know. Correct? Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, that sounds great in theory, but unfortunately, you're gonna. I think that ship has sailed because
Yeah, I agree. That ship has sailed. Yeah,
it's sailed. It's gone. It's and
or
plus two women. A lot of women. Not saying all of them, but a lot of them are very promiscuous these days. And look, I don't know if this is a scientific proven fact or theory, but I believe the more sexual partners a woman has, the less chance she has to be able to pair bond to one man.
okay, wait.
Now,
But that's one option. Okay, that's one possibility. You agree with me on that? But the other possibility would be to lower the standards that people have inside their brain for a partner, right?
absolutely, yeah. But what can you? Yeah,
And that goes for man and woman, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
I
and
think
in that case, we
some
would have
men would have
solved.
to. Have to
Sorry.
you won't. You'll never totally solve the incel crisis because the incels always been around. Even since the dawn of time, and they'll be around after we're gone. So they'll always be around. But you
I
can
mean,
certainly
incels have been around before there was institutionalized monogamy, like marriage. Uh, but during the time where we had like strict marriage, where everybody was getting married, the amount of incels was like minimal, was pretty low, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying
that is
is,
good.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, and what basically happens for men, I believe, is that the moment you're not able to reproduce, you're lowering your standards automatically, right? Would you agree?
Uh, what if you're not? Sorry, did you say? Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yes. Would you agree that the moment you're not able to reproduce, you want to reproduce, but you're not able to reproduce, you lower your standards, right?
Yes, Spurs. Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like with incels, that's not really what's happening.
Look, some incels. I'm not saying all of them. Some of them probably have too high standards, but I think most of them wouldn't. But then again, it depends on the individual guy. Depends on the individual incel. I mean, I don't have high standards, but some of them do.
I feel like it's not about standards. Feel like it's about a problem with intimacy and sex. I don't think that they have too high standards. I think that they don't want sex enough in a. They don't really want. They might think that they want sex a lot, but on some level, they're many of them are also scared of sex and intimacy. So that's why they're
Oh,
not lowering their standards.
nothing to be scared of sex.
I mean, there is plenty of
Um,
reasons to be scared of sex, right?
not really. Um,
Wait, there is enormous pressure of for men, especially young men, to perform in bed, right? There is pressure on dick size. There is pressure
yeah.
on. There is even like paranoia about getting sued for consent violation, which I feel like the younger generation has started to develop some paranoia with that. There is being scared of sexual disease, but I think mostly it's about scared of performing in bed. I mean, it's women also have a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Women are also a lot very scared of sex, and when you're young and you have that, and at some point you hopefully overcome it. But there's plenty of reasons for a young person to, and if you don't overcome that, also for an older person to be scared of sex, right?
I'm definitely not scared of sex.
I
Yeah,
mean, you don't have
yeah,
to.
there's not.
You don't. It's yeah. Sorry, come again.
Yeah, just yeah. just on well, male dick size. There's a lot of myths put out there. I was watching a very good YouTube video where a urologist was interviewing a female retired porn star, and she said, "What you see in the movie, in porn movies, is BS. Like you see a woman, she's getting pounded by some guy who's got a very large penis, and she's getting all pretending to get all turned on. And that's She's pretending. It's actually painful for. It's actually painful for them. It actually hurts them. She said, what women prefer is the girth thickness. You're better off having a thick member rather than the long one. No, I'm not being funny. This is just scientific. Because I read on a medical website, the average length of a woman's vaginal canal is between 3 and 7 inches, depending on how tall the woman is. So as a man, if you're any more than 7 inches, it's no point. You're just going to hurt the woman. And this is coming from a female porn star. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to be, you don't have a micro penis, but you don't need to be hung like an elephant either. So that's no good either. Women don't. Uh, there's a lot of myths put
Uh,
out. Unfortunately, people watch too much corn. They watch too much corn movies, and they take that as reality, where it's not. Porn's just fantasy. That's all it is.
yeah. So you agree with me that there is reasons why people might be scared of sex and intimacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
But
how much do you
yeah,
think is that contributing to? Do you still think that's a factor in inceldom?
well, it could be for some of them. Could be for some of them. I mean, a lot of you said one people fear having sex is catching an STD. Yeah. A lot of incels that I tell, just go to a prostitute. Oh, what if I catch an STD? Well, you could, but statistically, and I've looked this up, as a man, you got more chance of catching an STD from a civilian woman you picked up in a bar or a nightclub than from a hooker.
Also,
Which
I mean the amount of distress that it's putting on them to not get laid. It might. I mean, the amount of stress they're making to themselves about being an incel and about not getting laid, you might think that somebody that with that high of a distress would be go through a lot of lengths, big lengths to just get what he wants, and getting an SCD is like a small risk to take, and they would be completely ready to do it. For example, you have incels that say that they would never geomax because they're scared of getting robbed or getting stabbed or something like that. But at the same time, they're saying that they have fantasies about self harm. And then I'm like, okay, then
yeah,
why are you scared of getting robbed? And I mean, you know what I mean? And wouldn't you go
yeah.
to? Wouldn't just the fact that you're not getting what you want make you do things that are more risky? But it doesn't seem to be the case. So I feel like sex is not what they want. It's about the validation and intimacy. It's not about sex, and that's why you talking about. I mean, you had this conversation with this one guy. I don't know. It was interview. It was called interview with a 50-year-old. It's on your channel. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
he
Kenneth the Golden Child back in 2019. Yeah.
yeah, and he basically said that you are getting it, but I don't think that that's what it is, right? And you agree, I think.
Yeah, well, he said, well, that's what, yeah, I remember that interview. I had that with Kenneth the Golden Child back in April of 2019. He said, "Well, are you really an incel? You are technically getting it. I mean, you have to pay for it. So, yeah, I don't know.